they are shining too much about like being disciplined, and I think it will show this game.
Cool. You guys see that all right? Or?
There you go, the Taliyah.
Hey.
Taliyah B1 flex just really OP right now because you don't see it as much in Eastern regions, I feel like, in 14.4. What are your thoughts on B1 Taliyah flex? You don't have to go super in depth.
I think it's just really strong because of Asir being out, honestly.
Oh, that's true. Is it not good into Azir? I thought it was even better because
it's good into Asir, but then the Orianna Asir handshake will be like a bit different in my opinion, because usually you are like one team gets Orianna, the other gets Asir, but now Asir is out, so one team bans Orianna, then they first pick Taliyah.
Oh, there's your favorite champion.
Oh. Yeah, there you go, the dragon.
My favorite thing to do here is to drop support at R3, and then when they pick support, you counter pick it on R3, and then you just secure scaling like we were talking about before. I wonder if that's what we're going to see, or we'll see a Nautilus early. I feel like Nautilus blind has been a big thing.
Nautilus very strong against champs like Smolder Seri, where you can just R him and kind of neutralize him for the team fight a bit.
Ari.
Blind pick coming out. It's been seen a lot more since the buffs to the charm.
I think it's they kind of know it's gonna be Taliyah mid, right? That's why I don't think Shio will play Taliyah jungle.
Wait, he can't. I guess he can hover it. He just can't lock it in.
Shio not much of a jungle Taliyah player?
I just read it out that he will play Taliyah jungle.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, personally not a big fan of the state of Taliyah jungle right now. I think it's way better in mid, and in pro play it's harder to pull, right?
I think Rel could go well. I love Rel Taliyah as a duo because they set up each other.
Yeah.
Right, and it also, I guess, works well with Ari Charm as well.
Like
so
Zeri and Smolder.
Surprised to see a Rel here?
No, I think Rel looks very good here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They can go Rel,
Nautilus.
they can go Nautilus. Some setup for the
And now
Taliyah.
Braum, probably, I think, is really good as a counter pick, and then you secure the scaling for the Smolder.
They can also do Rel themselves too. We will see.
We'll see. It's all.
Or maybe they can even drop if they have a lot of champs that they can pick right now. Mickey can pick.
Alistair as well. Yep.
Yeah, Alistair.
There it is. Really good into both. You just don't sort of die, but I feel like these are your two premier choices when it comes to anti-Nautilus.
Yep.
Right. So how do you think they should round out the composition if you're the side of
right now, G2 wants to front to back, right, and let Smolder scale. So they should look to pick something tanky or something that can be strong in early game. For example, like Bolly would be pretty decent for me, for G2 side. But I don't know if BDS will ban it.
What do you think about Wukong Sejuani as a rotation we saw in the first game of today? I feel like Renekton's sort of a setup ban for Wukong, because it is a negative matchup in my opinion. Well, that's what it used to be anyway. Potentially there with synergy with the Braum, and it also gives you engage.
Yeah, I think Wukong can be really strong, but I think has a lot of bad matchups on top. I think last game he played against TF, which I think is a very good lane for...
Yeah. He counter-picked into it, but maybe with the Sejuani pairing it makes up.
Yeah.
So, what do you think this Jace is a setup ban for? Do you think it's just a Jace blind cover off because it's just so OP? I think Jace is really, really good right now top lane as well.
I think... Actually, I don't know why they're banning
Sejuani Jax rotation? Could be. I feel like Jace is not bad into Jax, but then maybe the duo overcomes the Jace.
Yeah, okay, there's a Jax.
As a Sejuani, we're talking about it a lot. I feel like it's risen a lot in priority recently, hasn't it? Because of the buffs to these champions.
Yeah, and also the priority of the new Knight's Bow, or like people realized how broken it is for the cost it takes. And Sejuani is also very strong.
They doubled the armor on it from was it preseason? And I feel like since Frozen, you've just replaced Kano, Raccoon, and things and that.
Oh, listen. So they're looking to play through mid jungle with the Ari Listen to camp the Taliyah a lot.
Good pairing. What other pairings do you have with Taliyah? Stuff like, I feel like, Poppy.
I think I would still play Rel. Poppy looks pretty decent, not the best against smaller Braum. But yeah, Poppy looks decent, I guess, to counter the league.
And top lane. Aatrox blind. Now, Wukong is really, really good into Aatrox.
I mean, there is a Poppy also in enemy side, so that lowers a bit the prio, but they don't care. Also, Zac, they don't care.
Oh, they do? Do you think they'll go for this?
I don't think they should pick Zac.
Because Smolder... It's good into Aatrox though. I've just seen Zeus play it, but it's probably not going to be the thing.
Yeah.
So
let's see what Broken Blade picks. Volley.
Ooh.
Okay.
Super interesting. Gets prio a lot early game. Volley recently been popping up a lot more.
That's pretty good, yeah. Into Poppy Aatrox kinda, and he got buffed so much.
Yeah. Wins every melee matchup kinda.
Yeah.
So
I think Aatrox can play this matchup from like level 5, 6 onwards, but for sure he could get dove a lot.
He needs points in his Q to reduce so he can actually fight, right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing with Aatrox. He always loses priority because of the long Q cooldown.
So. Hey, we got a little stat. Broken Blade Volibear, 0 wins, 3 losses. Last played at Worlds 2020. But
2020?
Yeah, 2020. That's 4 years ago, so let's see if he got better.
it's buff volley, so it's
Yeah,
different, right?
it's completely different. It's also a different Broken Blade. Yeah. All right. Who wins?
I'm pretty sure they will try to dive the Aatrox a lot from G2 side, and I think BDS wants to like make sure that the Taliyah and the Seri are scaling and they can stack Drakes.
This it looks like a hard Lee Sin game, no?
Yeah, a little bit.
Would you want to play Lee Sin in this game?
I think not really, but if you're a good Lee Sin, you can always play against Poppy. Like if it's not like insanely big counter, it's playable, right?
So mid to top bridge for G2 and get to smolder scaling. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Nice TLDR. Thank you both for that, and let's head over to our casters.
Thank you so much. Lovely to have you guys take over the draft, get that insight from Razork. And here we are. A good Lee Sin can always make it happen, which is what every Lee Sin, regardless of their skill, tells themselves when they queue up. So while Yike is a great jungler, I am a little bit nervous at the windows of opportunity that have been closed off against a champion like Taliyah, against a champion like Poppy. We'll see how it works. But yeah, jungle naturally a pretty big focus. Poppy, when we see her, usually incredibly active. A similar story for Lee Sin. So see if it's an explosive early game for both sides as we get ready for BDS versus G2.
This mid jungle is going to be an absolute bloodbath if G2 have it the way they want to. I mean, every time you pick an Ahri, you want something that's going to be able to synergize well with it, get that damage off, and Lee Sin has kind of been the go-to even when we look back at last year as well. And BDS immediately want to try and make some funny shenanigans happen and see if maybe they can get a bit of an advantage here.
Eyes out on that. Braum is going to be caught out. Mickey, not the start to the game that he was looking for. Unbreakable. Fading away, the flash in, little wall bang coming out. Quick first blood for Ice, excellent start for BDS.
Yeah, Flash forward did it. I think he started E there though to get the stun, which means that he's going to struggle a little bit on his setup when it comes to, when it comes to...
We're focused on the first blood, sorry, we got distracted.
Yeah, but like, Poppy now going to struggle when it comes towards our clear, so if I'm Yike, there's opportunities now to try and punish that, to say, look, I'm going to have a bit of a faster get through my jungle. So see if I can get into some of these lanes a little bit faster. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sheo try and start out on this bottom side, get some help from his AD carry to at least get through that improper start, and then see if you can get to your level 2 pretty quick.
I also feel like if you're Sheo in this position, you can be like, Ice, you literally have to give me 5 extra auto attacks. You get to walk to lane with a longsword. Like, you have to pay me. And an extra pot, you know, like, you owe me.
Yeah, and you got the experience. You're going to hit the level 2.
I could have taken Q for me. I took E for you, buddy. You owe me a little extra time. And they're, you know, not going to give it to him.
They're not going to give it to him at all, no. You're on your own, buddy.
He knows his role. He's not a Taliyah jungle guy. He doesn't get to play it. He has to play the Poppy. He has to be the facilitator.
But still, going to hit the level 2. You'll be fine here, Shale. You're going to take the E on the level 2 anyway, so it's not going to slow him down too much, but at least Yike will have a bit of a quicker start as he moves on through it. But I do think a lot of this is going to be like level 4, level 5, seeing if you can get Yike in towards mid lane, get caps up and rolling, and just punish Nuke in the early stages. And obviously the desk was already kind of hitting on it. Having the fact that you've got Shale's W, Nuke's E, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to try and play through that matchup.
Definitely is going to be tricky to navigate in this fight. We'll see what the setup is, as BDS, unsurprisingly, pretty comfortable to get aggressive on the bottom side, and this is big. Again, if you haven't watched or played against Smolder, he scales, he's chilling, he wants his stacks, he gets 225 of them, it feels like the game is over. It's not quite the Cassidon meme, time's up, but without the hot fix, it's pretty damn close. So
it's like, it's not even halfway through day 1 and I'm already sick of Smolder.
Yeah.
It's like, look,
no,
I like the way this champion's designed, but the scaling is absurd. And once you do get those 225 stacks and beyond, it kind of gets disgusting. Like Aldea, our stats person, was saying, like, there's 22 pentakills from this Smolder pick already, and he's only just been enabled.
That's why I kind of love this bot lane matchup. It's like Zeri versus Smolder. It's like most likely to get a pentakill and most likely also not to get any credit because no one is impressed. Like, that's what the champion does.
It's like Zeta's CS numbers, right? We have to extract his KDA whenever we play Smolder and then look at the rest of it.
I feel like the designers, you know, at Riot are like in an arms race to see who can design the 80 carry, who can like get the most pentakills. Whoever designed Smolder is winning, so see if Zeri can make a comeback here.
Well, that's why she had to get buffed, right?
Yeah,
so that you can see Zeri versus
It's
Smolder.
really the pentakill battle. Maokai gets buffs for Freak. Zeri and Smolder get buffs for their respective designers, you know. I assume is how it works. Anyway, one thing we haven't talked about yet is this top lane matchup. Obviously, Aatrox, you're probably used to seeing. Volibear, I wouldn't say flavor of the month, got some pretty significant buffs, especially when it comes to that Q move speed as well. The Thought Charm going a bit wide. Sonic Wave will connect, but G2 just bringing in Yike to support that push out from Caps.
Yeah, I think we're going to see basically this continue to happen. Because as you say, like, unfortunately, Charm going wide means that you can't get the combo down. But in the top side, BB is going to go for this. We've seen us 2 different style of builds coming through for the Volibear. So one is going to be your jungle style, which is I'm going to build more fighter. And the top side is going to be I'm building more tank. So he's going to reset, pick up a tier. He's then going to come back. He's going to work up towards his unending despair and then go into Fimbulwinter and Tanky and beyond. The whole idea is you get a ton of sustain off of your W and off of your shields, especially when you get into things like a Spirit Visage for this champion, and you just don't die. So BB going to be perfectly fine in this matchup, but it does mean your most explosive moment is going to be for G2 in that mid lane, and that's where all the action's going to be.
And just kind of what will eventually become the battle of effectively drain tanks on the top side.
Yeah,
exactly. The Aatrox and the Volibear, and you know, when you're able to just build full tank, focus on some of that early armor, it can limit the impact of what we very much expect to be the more lethality-focused Aatrox. So then we'll see if Adam has any adaptations of his own. That said, a relatively quiet early game. Quick Smolder stack check, 32 in 5 minutes, not bad. But yeah, name of the game, as we saw kind of in our first game with Vitality Team Heretics, is like, if you can do anything to slow the Smolder down, if you can try to apply more pressure on the bottom side of the map, limit this, things will go in your favor. That said, when there's a Braum, when you have that support counter pick into the Nautilus, I feel like it makes it so much more difficult to actually meaningfully threaten the Smolder.
And I think that's why we're looking at like the supports to see what they can do, and Labrov wants to see if he can get onto Caps.
Confident movement forward from Caps, knowing Yike is behind him. Mickey now on the way too, that's a man advantage. Charm gonna connect, excellent buffer coming in from Labrov. That could have been his life, but Cheo now coming in as well, knocking Mickey back. Not quite gonna connect on the wall, and Breakable to block the follow-up. You're taking a sweet time, bit of an awkward fight, but BDS are now the ones with the man advantage. Again, the flick back not gonna connect. Yike just barely able to make it out. He's stunned, but the follow-up is not there. G2 holding on. BDS had the man advantage, but can't quite finish the kills.
Nuke just missing that flick back was a disaster. That could have been the easy pickup, and then you start to move that over towards like Void Grubs and stuff, but instead, they're not quite able to get it. But Shale is going to move over towards the Dragon since a lot of G2 are low.
Yep, low, forcing the reset, so tempo advantage to the side of the BDS. Doesn't mean the Dragon started for now, will eventually get taken down. Probably not quite pulled back by the chains there. Sky Splitter to clear the wave. We're going to watch a lot of bears and or man bears proxy waves today, Rob.
It does feel like League is starting to turn into a little bit of like, oh, McDonald's farm. Because we've got like Zeri, who inevitably will bring Yuumi the cat. We've now got a bear in it. We've also got a dragon in it. It just feels like this weird mythical farm that we're going to. Yeah.
Dragon. Yeah. I want a panda chain. Why do we get baby dragon? Where's our baby panda champion? Everybody likes baby
Kung Fu
pandas.
Panda?
Yeah, where's Kung Fu Panda? Why is it Jack Black in League of Legends? These are the questions that keep me up at night. That and how are Ice and Labrov really going to stop Smolder from scaling? Because I don't want to overplay it here, but again, the hotfix was pretty massive, and we are pre-hotfix. That said, a dive would be a great way to do it. Hansama knocked back at the wall, that's clean, and the flick back not going to miss this time. Excellently coordinated dive by the side of BDS. The counterplay coming through on the top side already. Lee Sin there, Volibear there, man advantage for G2, but they're not going to go for anything. Just a free kill to the side of BDS.
Yeah, I think with Ice taking that much damage, they can't really go for any more underneath the turret. Still though, yeah, Ice going to get interrupted again, so at least Hansama will be able to get back into the spot lane. Adam going to spot out the Yike is here, but with the level advantage for Adam, he's going to be able to at least force Yike off of these camps on the top side. So BB will end up just responding with a turret plate for himself. Maybe with the ultimate from BB, they can actually dive, so Adam has to be very careful here.
Adam, no ulti either. This, little bit greedy. Yike going for the setup, can't quite find the angle on the Sonic Wave. Creep Wave is there, forcing the flash out, keep in mind. Landing one of those Q sweet spots once the Infernal Chains have already connected essentially guarantees the pullback, so Yike knowing he needs to flash.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe they're trying to wait for Yike to hit level 6 off of the creep wave. You can see he's very close to that, and maybe that was the place. Even when you look at the position of the E from Broken Blade, it was more towards trying to finish off like some creeps that were there, but I don't know. That was a bit of a weird one.
A bit odd. Broken Blade stepping forward, gets interruption on the Q, so it does reset the cooldown. Just a little fun thing in Volibear's kit. You see him, he still gets to just keep running at you.
Surprised to see he hasn't gone for the tier though in this, because most of the times when I see the tank Volibear stats, it's more like a get that Fimbulwinter so you can just continuously throw down your E and start to poke down. But I mean, yeah, Aatrox may not be worth it.
If you're going to play a long enough laning phase where the whole goal is to drain tank and just kind of out-sustain, you really need access to your abilities, right? Your sustain is entirely your W, the shielding, the Sky Split. Like these abilities aren't cheap. Certainly cheap compared to a lot of mages, but you need that additional mana very often. But now checking in across the board for itemization for G Shard, so unsurprising to see, you know, the static focus as it has been for Zeri just about everywhere. And of course the Essence Reaver for Smolder. Again, Onsama getting shut down a little bit early on is a big deal, slowing the Smolder scaling, something that BDS can try to capitalize on further.
It's also something that we've started to see a little bit more, especially when you look across the LCS, is like, okay, first 3 grubs will give up, but suddenly at like 10 minutes we get a lot of fighting for those void grubs at the top side. So especially with Labrov and Ice having control over this bottom side, I think that's where we're going to see is Labrov starts to move now. More push towards, hey, can we play around Ari in the mid lane, try and contest the next set of void grubs so G2 don't get the next, or to get those 6 stacks, and then you can always reset in time for something like a Dragon if you really want to, but that's a bit of a tight window because there's only a 30-second difference at the moment between the two.
Pressure on the top side for BDS. We'll see if Adam wants to back here. He doesn't really have any coverage, but feels confident enough he can get it. Nuke, the charm going to connect this time. There's just no counterplay. Double flick back, does not matter. Yike grabbing the kill there. Clean play coming in from Caps. You can see why they prioritize the Ahri, regardless of who it's up against. Really excellent setup. It's
really hard to spot that as well because it was a lane gank. You don't really have any vision that's that deep into the enemy jungle. So nice setup from G2 and just Caps using that ultimate to close the distance. And now that will give them a lot of control when it comes towards, hey, we can get this reset in. Caps could even TP back in the mid lane as well. Working up towards that Malignance, he's going to be in a great spot. So a lot of control coming off that. But Caps not having the ultimate may make things a little bit more difficult for G2 if they want to try and take a fight at these void groups.
It's on BDS to capitalize on that opportunity, however. Still flashes up for Cap, flashes up for Nuke. Again, just once you're caught out by that CC, there's just so little room. There's just too much damage on the mid-jungle duo. You know, it's kind of highlighted on the desk as well. Mid-jungle, expecting to play into top, but honestly, Broken Blade has been left in isolation, and it's looked good so far outside of that one top lane play that was a bit of a fumble from him and Yike.
Yeah, I mean, Volibear is just so strong at the moment. He's always been a bit of a lane bully, and the fact that he got a ton of buffs, including to like the move speed on his Q, which is kind of what got people interested in him again. It makes it so hard to try and focus him down. So as long as BB has full control up here, I mean, Yike can kind of do what he wants if he's in a position to start moving over towards even potential dives on top side once more. The last one didn't go so hot, so maybe they pull the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. At this point, you're fine. You know, BB is getting plates. G2, small gold lead does matter. Of course, there's a Drake on the side of BDS, but all things considered, relatively even early game. The big thing is kind of AD scaling. I feel like if we're going to have a slower game where things are going to be closer overall, we're kind of just looking at the late game arms race of Smolder versus Zeri. Smolder certainly feels like the easier champion to get value out of.
And that's the thing. I think for BDS, it's, look, we talked about potentially going for Void Grubs, but I think they're more interested in Dragons going, hey, if we can fight third, fourth before Smolder gets to, you know, the 2-2-5 stacks at 25 minutes, that's fantastic. So let's try and see if we can move in that direction. But G2 with the quicker resets and off of that early kill for Caps having that quicker reset as well, they've just set up control now in River and making it difficult for BDS to move in. Like, this choke point is going to be miserable for BDS to try and come through.
They're matched 4v4, but G2 just have better positioning, better vision coverage at this point, so BDS has to be very careful about walking in. They can see both top laners present, so they know at maximum it's an even matchup. They need to catch the wave in mid, not willing to give up, you know, a couple hundred gold just to try to contest. Not even really have access to the sure thing. Mickey stepping forward to body block. Ice, shock laser over the wall. TP now coming in. G2 want to force the fight here. They think they found the angle. Nuke, though, is going to see Broken Blade now coming in. Going to try to stop the Bullet following up, getting the impact wall. Isn't really effective here. Knockback is there. Caps still has a dash forward, but Labrov, sidestep coming in. Meanwhile, on the top side, Adam not committing the TP, doesn't have access to it. Instead, going to be focused on trying to knock down as many plates as possible. But that bear does not care. There he goes. Oh, yike! The hard reads coming in. He can't see, but he also can't miss. Yike clean with the play.
That was really cool from Yike. Could have gone very differently though for G2. At the start, it's like, okay, we're going to be able to set up nicely where we push BDS into that bot side. And then they bring in BB to try and make sure they're coming into play. Adam could have back away. Speed up though from BB.
Again, the stun instantly into the ult. Follow-up is there. Yike is living every Lee Sin's dream. All of his laners have great setup. He gets to point and click his Q just about every time.
Yeah, it's a nice little time to be a Lee Sin in this kind of matchup. But again, I think the fact that you've managed now to chase BDS off of this bot side Dragon and get the Dragon, and now you've managed to get some control on top side, could have worked out well, but because BB ended up spending so much in trying to push Adam off, Shale managed to get the reset timer out, BDS are back out of the map, so won't be able to turn that into the Void Grubs, which I think could have been a nice moment for G2, but we're still contesting here.
And considering Mickey there as well. Maybe trying to go for a fast play here onto Adam. BDS though, first access here, not great vision coverage from G2, don't really have concrete information on where Talia is. She's backing, but in the fog of war, so G2 are still gonna risk it anyway. Confident enough to step forward, Caps. Ready to dash forward, Q flash forward from Mickey, that's the lock up there. Labrov again buffering on the hook, the kickback is clean though onto Sheo. Another dash coming in for Caps, Labrov likely to fall as well. Yike on a killing spree. You heard it from Razork on the desk, if you're good enough at least then you can make it work, and G2 are making it work.
I mean, that was a sick attempt from Labrov to get out of there. Takes a step back, tanks the charm from Caps so he can then use his dredge line to move out, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough, and with Yike getting that kick, solidifies a double kill now for G2, and if Adam sticks around, could end up in a lot more trouble. Did get the reset coming through from Mickey though, so it would just be 2 members. So Adam, just gonna take that reset anyway.
Yeah, and we'll see how this matchup shapes up once Adam has another item under his belt. Looks like Sunder Sky coming out first, but when we look back at that Dragon play, part of the reason it went so well for G2 is because BB did have the TP advantage, was pushed up so far that Adam really couldn't get much more than a single plate on the pushback, and now Caps moving up to top side. They think they might have caught the recall here. On the bottom side of the map though, G2 have to be a little bit careful. Mickey potentially caught out, follow up from Talia Wall is available if they want to go for a play. Labrov waiting in the darkness will get spotted. Will be forced to walk back here as Ice trying to keep the pressure up mid lane.
So coming back to that Dragon, I do think it's a little bit greedy from G2 to commit the TP from Broken Blade, because basically what you could have done was take Dragon, and immediately with the way BDS were set up, you can just push them out bot side and then all group onto mid lane tower as G2 take mid lane tower because you've got the numbers advantage there, and BDS are in an awkward spot. But now, let's see if they can catch Sheo. Just get stunned.
The bear has been sent packing, but Sheo instantly going to get knocked up, and yep, that's a very strong Lee Sin. Early Eclipse going to make sure the damage is there. Sheo still running though, still tanky. Nuke doing whatever he can to fire back, but it's not nearly enough. And here comes the bear, baby. Wall coming out as well. I don't know if you've seen Cocaine Bear, but this is basically the plot in a nutshell.
Broken Blade completely unstoppable in that one. He was not going to let them get away. I mean, the fact that Sheo tried to use his ultimate, buffers it, and you still get BB to get the stun. Then you get the opportunity to try and knock someone back, and still they end up getting the dredge line, or not the dredge line, the knock-up coming through from Mickey as well. That was just heartbreaking for Sheo. He did so many things just a second too late to be able to save himself. But nice job from G2 again, just finding picks on side lanes, making sure they're collapsing before BDS are already in a position on the map, and making BDS pay for it.
So Broken Blade already just uncontested on this tower. Nuke going to be forced to respond, but G2 already moving members to the top side of the map to contest the Herald to get control over that area. So Nuke going to be a little bit behind on the play if Broken Blade does reset and want to move up.
Well, that's the thing, is that as long as Talia is spot on the bot side, if they've timed the TP correctly, they can actually TP in towards the Rift Herald without Talia being able to answer. So I think that's essentially what they're trying to play for here. Play for Rift Herald. They know they got the teleport advantage, and as long as BB doesn't get caught by the Nautilus roam here from Labrov, they know that they've got that extra little bit of timing on the map. So nicely done here by G2. Get the play on the bot side, guarantee themselves bot side control, and now they guarantee themselves the Rift Herald off the numbers play as well.
Keep moving in, just control a bit of vision. Adam, very diligent in not being spotted, but just the edge of the sweeper is going to catch him out. They know he's right there. Herald will drop in favor of G2. Nuke is able to push that wave in on the bottom side. Maybe can start to move up. It's 14 seconds till the Drake. Teo and Ice waiting together, looking for some good damage onto Mickey. Unbreakable there. He can just dash away. Buy a bit more time. Yike in the area too. Have to be careful. G2 backing off. BDS should just be able to break mid here if they want to commit. G2 potentially a little bit over eager here. Are going to end up losing mid lane tower. BDS, do they have enough of an advantage to transition this to Drake? It looks like the answer is yes.
Yeah, especially with the position Yikes in. Moved up towards that top side, considered making a play there. BB going to TP in. They're going to try and go for Adam instead.
I'm concerned about the Drake instead. Laser focused on Adam. Caps trying to keep this one going. One dash in, waiting on the charm. Waiting till the angle is right, dashing in, not giving Adam any room to maneuver. Finally going to connect on that one. Yike moving in. Should just be an easy finish here. Adam trying to turn it back though, healing so much. But still, Caps able to clear up that kill. BDS grabbing the Drake. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map.
That was greedy from Adam. You already had the play in mid, and you were going to get the Dragon. That's the big win. But now, because you end up overextending that top side, G2, they're going to get the Rift Herald, and more than likely, we'll be able to get a good amount of damage on towards this top side turret. TP forced out to make sure that they're able to hold on to this, but you can see Caps already resetting. G2 want to see if they can try and make plays elsewhere. Actually going to cancel that reset, so numbers out on the map here for BDS if they want to try and make a play on towards mid or elsewhere.
Your eyes on Labrov. Looks like he will be moving down to the bottom side of the map, so they're ready to cover that push coming in from Broken Blade with more resources. Adam moving there as well. Ice still able to hold control over the mid lane at this point in the game. Does get harder as Smolder gets obviously more stacks under his belt. Only 142 right now for Juan Sama. But Broken Blade will be able to grab this tower. Should just back away after, but if he overcommits, BDS might be able to punish.
So I just noticed, I think BB forgot to buy tier. Because he's now got
it.
A very, very late tier.
Look, sometimes you go back 400 gold for no combat stats. You know, it's
yeah,
just not,
I mean, I understand.
Not a
right?
bridge that you want to, you know.
I mean, look, maybe he just need the combat stats in the matchup, but we'll still be working up. Just there you go. Well, not quite Fimble Winter yet, but Winter's approach picked up for himself. So, and yeah, this is just going to be a very, very tanky BB that sets up beautifully for, hey, you got Smolder in behind it. Yike as well, with the Sunder Sky and the Eclipse now picked up, is very strong in finds the 1v1. But speaking of,
Caps gonna hit the charm. Unraveled Earth does not matter. And Caps just gonna keep dancing around him, but there's LeBron the flash in, he gets the kill, now he has one more dash! He can get back, BDS are committing everything, counterpunch from G2 in the mid lane, they're gonna be able to grab a tower back, but that is a huge shutdown for BDS.
I mean, it's a 1-for-1 in the top side, so you're kind of happy as that as Caps, and you're gonna get the mid lane turret. Yes, he traded for the top side, but mid turret is always more valuable in these kind of scenarios, and even then, going to be the resets coming through. Wasn't sure how heavily they want to try and commit down onto this bot side for linking up a BB, maybe looking for a tier 2. Would have been probably a little bit too late with where BDS are positioned on the map, but still, I mean, trading equally here for G2.
Yeah, 1-for-1. Feeling a little bit better for BDS because of the shutdown, but ultimately credit to Caps mechanically. Once he was in that situation, it took a lot of skill to actually finalize that kill and not leave Nuke with a blinking health bar, and Caps with a little bit of embarrassment. Of course, it is the Malignance. We talked about this. This is kind of the conventional Ahri build. Did not opt for Leandries, as we frequently see as second item, instead opting for Lichbane. Not a lot of tanks on the opposite side that are priority targets for Ahri. Instead, more about killing the Zeri, killing the Taliyah, maybe killing the Aatrox.
It's also because a lot of the way BDS want to try and operate is through side lanes, so like having that stronger 1v1 potential as you saw from Caps is just super nice. But yeah, mechanically, Caps kind of stalling on folks, and I think at this stage, you're kind of in a bit of an awkward position as BDS. You have 2 minutes until the next dragon, but the dragon stacking doesn't really matter for you, because at this stage it's like, okay, well, Caps and Yike are so far ahead that they're going to be able to take over in a lot of these fights. Even the positioning that you have on, hey, can we get control in side lanes? Not really happening because Nuke can't really continue to push out, so G2 make it significantly easier for them to contest a lot of these objectives now and start to drift that vision control forward. And you can even see it at the moment, right? Push in mid-wave, use Yike to get control against the Zeri, and then lit her topside with wards to allow Caps to punish in the 1v1.
A little bit of vision. Got back here from BDS, but you can see G2 slowly choking out BDS vision on the top side. It's going to make it so hard to make good decisions. Caps dashing in, the charm's still going to connect. Spike Shio's intervention. Caps still stand, and here comes Mom, baby! Chore's not done for BDS. They're sent home. They were not allowed out to play.
The Mama Bear combo was too much for BDS. Terra gets shut off, the Dragon Fire comes in and absolutely rinses BDS underneath that turret. And now, you can see them immediately over towards the Baron. They're like, Grant, we've completely destroyed the top side. There's nobody here to contest.
Mama Bear line Rob firing. You're a content genius. BDS gonna struggle to respond. Our audience eventually going to struggle to deal with all of the Smolder-related mom jokes, but for now, you'll suffer through, just as we suffer through this Smolder. BDS might have to suffer against a Baroned up G2, who aren't interested in the Purple Worm, instead interested in getting a few more kills under their belt. Because of blow stack now coming in, Yike looking for the follow-up, Caps off to the side. Ice now trying to turn, keep your eyes on that Zeri. It has to be all about Ice, but already, front line falling apart. Nuke! The flick back onto 3 is everything, he got it! In the moment, Nuke now chasing through, it's BDS. Do they want to start at the Worm? Can they start the objective to chase down onto Mickey as big? He's not quite going to drop, but that flick, clutch. That is a game-defining play from Nuke.
And just like that, BDS are going to end up against the Baron. The fact now that you're going to have a massive amount of side lane pressure that you can use with this Baron is going to be huge for this squad. And that was insane. G2 over-aggressing way too much into the choke point, and this looked dodgy from the get-go, right? It's 3 versus 5 essentially with Caps coming in the side. You've got a nice cover here. Shao's only coming from the face. You're waiting on this TP, so BDS are trying to kite back. And yes, you get the kills, but the second you all group up on the side, that flick from Nuke, 3 key members of G2 taken out. And BB and Mickey, they just got nothing left. I mean, the fact Mickey survives here is a miracle.
Certainly is. But from a G2 perspective, you highlighted already, they knew Shio's gone. He's not a part of the equation. They can just force the Baron down. They don't have to take the fight. Of course, a little bit riskier when you don't have clean access, but over-eager perhaps to just play for those kills to get even more. And now, you know, we're looking at a pretty small gold deficit. Yes, again, Smolder continues to scale, but Zeri is also a laking terror. 3 items for Ice.
And this is now where we got to see if BDS are going to be able to use this Baron. Because one of the big things that we talk about a lot with BDS is, look, their team fighting is exceptional. But when it comes to map play and how they use like some of these advantages of Baron and stuff, hasn't been the greatest. So now G2 already in a position where they're just going to look to try and trade against BDS because they weren't back out on the map faster. So at least you'll answer tower for tower. But this is where I want to see, okay, how do you match up against G2? Because this is a team that is the best at macro in our league. And if BDS can outmaneuver and outthink G2 on the map with this Baron, this is where they can close out this game.
Caps, of course, left to the bottom side of the map. You can see Adam debating the recall there if he needed to respond to that play. Ops will hold on for now, but Cap's going to keep this pressure point up. They already conceded both tier 2s. Hard for BDS to get a lot more than that. It should be fine to just walk up and clear this, however. Karma again connecting. Inside of the laning phase, Caps has been incredibly precise there, but the tower's still standing. So G2 drawing some attention at least to the bottom side of the map, leveraging Caps' ultimate, delaying some of the impact of the Baron, but 2 tier 2s already down, not bad for a first Baron of the game.
Ooh, Nuke trying to pick off Caps there, but I think it's a little bit over-eager. At this stage, I think you just want to try and catch mid-wave, push that out, and then commit everyone to this bottom side of the map to get this last remaining outer turret there for BDS. But without that mid-wave, you can see this is going to be a little bit disjointed, right? So Zeri now is clearing mid as this wave is starting to approach this bot side turret. So I don't see... There's a one ward in the Dragon Pit that maybe BB can try and teleport to get a flank opportunity. I'm curious if that's what they're going to try and look for here, but Hansama going to move across the mid to just try and pick up, and there's the TP instead, just the turret to try and defend this.
A bit more time. Again, Hansama incredibly close to the 225 stack breakpoint. That's where you start with the execute. Just hit like a truck. Cap taking a bit of a chunk here. Unbreakable from Mickey. Sheo just happy to get that cooldown. Nice heads-up play. Doesn't commit the ultimate quite yet, but Adam is now going to be in trouble. Dash back to safety. Ultimate immediately coming out. Bomb makes a brief appearance, but not for too long here as BDS are now on their retreat. G2 still incredibly powerful overall. BDS can maybe fight Ice untouched for now. The Bear leaping in, the Bear leaping out. Shut down for Adam. Ice, a little parkour over the wall. Nice sized up on the charm as well. Hansama flying out to safety. But even an hotfix flat won't finish that one off.
Nuke TP's in, but he's got to disappear immediately. A little bit of miscommunication by BDS, but bot lane tower remains standing. So for G2, get some kills. You managed to hold on to that bot lane tower, which is a big win. But still, like, it's a lot of gold going over into BDS's pockets, right? Because you get top, you got mid as well. So at the moment, even if you look at the top of your screen, like, gold is still incredibly even, and Ice, if he's able to deal damage in these fights, is going to be in a great spot. But when you're in a position like that where you're trying to dive underneath the tower and there's a lot of safety for a Smolder, it becomes very difficult for Ice to really threaten the backline. You can see it here, right? Now Ice is trying to hit onto people, but he's very short range. There's little opportunities for him to really maneuver in to get the damage down. Whereas when you look at the backline, with the Achu there, you actually hit the 225 stacks, I know, for Hansama.
No, it's very
so you actually end up with getting this burn across, which is, in the end of the day, what finishes off Labrov. And it just makes it very, very difficult for BDS to try and aggress forward, which is why Ice sees his opportunity here and tries to go in, use some of this extra static damage that you get off of the ultimate to maybe pick off members, but just doesn't quite have enough in the tank.
I would say displeasure on the face of the coaches there. It was hard to say exactly what that was. So Smolder's online. He's a real dragon now. So we can stop talking about that, because by the end of the day, you'll wonder what we've said more over our broadcast lifetimes, Legacy Dynasty Kings, or Smolder needs 225 stacks.
Yeah, it's just 225.
Yeah. So he's there. We can stop now. Don't worry. He's very strong. Ulti very strong. Very low cooldown. The E, of course, the part that was hot fixed. 3 times as powerful from a scaling perspective, essentially, more or less, when it comes to that hot fix. So keep your eyes on the flat. There's a lot of autos coming out there. BDS, of course, dead even in gold. So I feel like we're in a position where it's a lot about execution, but as you mentioned earlier, Rob, BDS sometimes struggle here. If they can get the full-on 5v5, I have full faith that they can execute, but if it becomes a game about maneuvering, side lane control, and kind of discipline around these tough calls, G2 are generally pretty favored.
Yeah, and I think that's where, if you're G2, it would be lovely to try and get into a position on Dragon, nice, so then you're able to contest BDS as they're trying to enter into River. Like, a lot of your guys are, you know, straight line projectiles that work very well in that scenario, or like a lot of AoE in these corridors that will work particularly well. Whereas when you're BDS, I think having multiple opportunities where if you can fight in River, because you open up space for Ice, you open up space for Nuke to try and cut out members, and even for Shale to cut across members of G2 and keep them out of the fight, either with the ultimate or his own E's or W, I think is going to be very important here. So at least with BDS, having control at the moment on the map state means it's going to be easier for them to try and find that fight that favors them.
Yeah, and you can see pretty good discipline when it comes to establishing a vision line. No real wards for G2 to play around. This should just be a Drake for BDS. Broken Blade forcing in that top wave, so someone will be required to respond on the side of BDS eventually. But for now, this play going in their favor. That said, LeBron you see on the mini-map on a little bit of a walkabout, but G2 don't want to get over-eager. Try to punish.
Yeah, I think their biggest worry is that G2 might just try and rush the Baron as they're getting position on towards the spot side. May even be the case here, to be perfectly honest. So just getting some vision down to spot it if G2 are going into the area. But I think G2, because of the way the waves were positioned, aren't really able to get like vision control down that allowed them to do it. And yes, they got some damage that could try and burst it, but just not quite enough to be like, okay, we're comfortable going for this. So BDS at the moment taking control here, and Labrov going to be able to clear out some of this vision. Zeri and Nuke are in base, so you do have to be a little bit careful here, Labrov.
Yep, there it is. Sonic Wave right into the charm. G2 find the angle. Quick support pick. Sheo ulti now coming out, so Labrov gone. Overconfident, too comfortable. Didn't see really anyone on the map and still felt comfortable to walk in a pocket of war. It's the old Schrodinger's G2 problem.
Caps hovering off the wings. Wants to see if he can get the flank here. Spotted by Adam, though, with a nice ward. So Caps just going to back away instead into the rest of the team. But this is where Ice and Nuke, they need to have a hero moment. Nuke, in particular, had that big fight. Can he make it happen again?
You have to be so careful about grouping. G2 see an opportunity. Unbreakable now coming out. There's the mom called in. Adam on the backside. The charm not going to connect. Adam now trying to get out to safety. He's zoned off here. So BDS have gotten the space that they wanted, but keep your eyes on Caps. He's fishing for the flank. Unraveled Earth already laid down. Yeah, continuing to step up. A bit scattered. Caps in the midst of the wave right now. Another charm not going to connect. BDS, good discipline thus far, just pulling back, retreating, trying to leverage the power of that Talia. Surprisingly tempered fight. Sheo caught out, but ooh, good damage coming in. Yike not going to follow. The Brav off to the side, has to be careful. Doesn't really have anyone to back him up if he overextends. G2, they have proved that they are the superior Lion here and will bully them away from the objective.
Still, though, you've got double TP coming for Adam and for Nuke, so they're going to reset and try and re-go into this. Nuke still has his ultimate, so could try and separate out these fights. Labrov ultimate not quite up and available, but if they can slow down the pace, maybe they can get in, but here it comes.
Low. This is dangerous. Caps off to the side, not in the best flank position. LeBron going to try and spot him out. 4K getting lower and lower. Nuke laying down the wall. It's a little bit of setup, but the objective should just go to the side of G2. Can they steal it away? No. Yikes, securing it. Nuke untouched. Ice laying down a little bit of damage. Hansama throwing down a little bit more to respond, though, but Ice is still standing. Keep your eyes on this area. That's big. Caps off to the side, looking for the charm. One more dash in. Can he find it? Ice, the charm connects. Mickey, the immediate follow, but the parkour now coming in. Mom getting called in one more time, and there's Hansama. Flapping all over Adam. Unstoppable now. BDS on the run. But as long as Ice is up, there's hope. The Baron already over, but Caps! He flashed over the wall to seal the deal. That's 180 carried down and dusted.
Nuke trying desperately to hold on to this. Hansama thinking of going over the wall to see if he can pick off Nuke, but everyone's going to back away. Baron for G2, the fight for G2, and the minions taking that bot lane tower as well. G2 find their moment to bring this game back in their favor.
But such a close fight overall. So many moments of tension there. Ice barely taken down. G2 still making it work, full confidence to do secure the Baron there.
But this is where it got a little bit risky, right? Because good wall from Nuke to actually keep G2 in the pit, which opens up Ice to go hyper-aggressive, but BB gives his dying breath to get onto Ice, force the flash back, and keeps him out of the fight. And at this entire time, Hansama has actually been boss-based thanks to Mickey in that back line, and not having that pressure from Nuke because there's just so many bodies in the way makes it very difficult for him to follow up. Yike as well, the two-man kick, means that there's just not quite enough damage there from Ice to follow through as the rest of G2 deal with the rest of the remaining front line for BDS. And then beautiful flash stun, or flash charm I should say, coming through from Caps to finish that one out.
I mean, really the icing on the cake. Ultimately, you get the Baron and you're able to secure that final KO. What? Don't look at me.
Icing on the cake?
Oh, okay, all right. Anyway, here we are. 1.5K gold lead for Ice. Maybe can be enough for BDS to swing things back in their favor, but G2 really going to start to put the pressure on. Again, Trogoblade a tough bear to respond to.
It's just, from this point, it's difficult. G2 kind of have to run of the mill. I'm surprised they're only playing off of the one wave state at the moment, though. I did think you'd see Caps move up towards that top side, try and push out that top wave and just create a bit more opportunity in the map, because at the moment, BDS don't really feel threatened to move outside of this mid tower. I know it's for Dragon in 30 seconds, but I still think you can create another point of pressure, but yeah. Caps just fishing off inside here. Who can he find?
Ward spots him. Big boulder thrown into space. G2 walking up, using the Unbreakable. Sheo again just kind of faking with the challenge there. Braum making it so difficult for him to really find access to that back line.
G2 just going to bully their way through that mid lane tower. And again, this bot side is so incredibly dark for them. It's going to be hard for them to try and commit to Dragon. I think you just gift this and instead look to get vision on that top side, look to push out that top lane. Looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Nuke immediately going to disappear up onto that top end, just try and alleviate some of the pressure.
And it just feels like G2 recognizing that Soul is probably one of the ways that BDS can come back into a game that's this close. So not over prioritizing pushing down lanes where they might not even be able to break open the base. Instead, really just laser focused, keeping mid prio, getting the Drake, and just moving to the next stage of the game.
The biggest problem that you're going to have, though, is that, like, Ice, yes, is quite strong, but you can see he's starting to work up towards the Randuins. He's going to be, or maybe even Frozen Heart, to be honest, with how close he's going to be in the fights. But either way, it's like he's kind of hitting his end goal, whereas you're kind of catching up now as Hans Sama. So that 1.5k not going to matter as much. You're also getting to stack a ton as well. So this is
we
where Hans is
mentioned
coming back.
infinite scaling. We said 225, but have we said the word infinite scaling yet? You cross that off
From
on
the
your
creators of Senna, we bring.
Have you ever wanted to play Vigar or Nasus, but like on a champion who was good? Smolder. It's there for you. It's right there. Although hotfix now, so it won't be nearly this strong in your solo queue games. They'll be baited into a false sense of security.
But still play at least.
He's still really
Very
good. Very, very good. All right. Resets. The map is quiet. 4 minutes till Chemtech, 2 minutes till Baron. We expect that to be the next major objective. Deep vision from G2 in the jungle of BDS right now. Resets coming in from Mickey, running straight down mid lane. Broken Blade moving up just to clear out some camps to get a bit of extra gold before the next fight. We'll see what the setup looks like from both sides. This is they're probably just gearing up for the full-on Baron dance, turn-based chess portion of League of Legends.
Yeah, basically for BDS, you've got opportunities to try and push in mid here because Zeri has a little bit more push than the Smolder does. Actually, take that back. Smolder at this stage just one shot away. But the thing is, you want to try and use the mid push into setting up on a side lane for like Nuke or something like that.
Yeah.
But Caps is still so far ahead. He's just capable of getting control in that 1v1 matchup. So you kind of need someone like, as you can see, Lavrov here to hover with him to make sure that Nuke is actually able to clear these waves. But that just opens up G2, the man advantage mid, to then set Volibear down to the spot lane. So they're just consistently pushing back BDS into a position where they can't contest the vision control. And then when Baron comes up in less than a minute's time, the vision has already been established for G2 in that top end. And you're trying to recover that as BDS rather than being able to establish deeper vision. So then you can, have Nuke come in on a flank, set up these weird opportunities for maybe even Adam to TP and flank in. But I do think at this stage, it's kind of, even with the elixir of Iron there for Adam, he maybe has a chance of causing disruptions, but there's just so much protection from Mickey. It's so hard for him to actually play in on Hans Sama.
The Smolder execute against a champion who wants to kind of be this sustain monster is infuriating. Just effectively having access to about 10% less of your total life pool before you just get deleted makes it so much more difficult, so much more tricky to play these fights. And we've got Seekers now coming in for Hans Sama. That is the old stopwatch active, for those of you who somehow missed the update at this point, as well as Zanya. So a lot of, I think, luxury purchases coming in for G2 as well, because when you look at Randuin's defensive item, it's all right, but it is not a stopwatch in terms of the raw power it could provide in a fight. Mickey, though, knock up there, Unbreakable again buying a bit more space. Broken Blade isolated on the backside. Sky Splitter doing good damage, and a bit more poke onto Sheo. Mickey now following, knock up, Mom making her way into the fight, not really going to connect to anyone. Sheo fishing for the knockback, is going to take one at least out of the fight. Yike pushed away briefly, but BDS losing a lot of their health just to walk into their own jungle.
They're trying desperately to do anything, but G2, as we said, have already established in those corridors are perfect for what G2 are trying to achieve with this composition. So BDS force back. Now they're going to try and re-establish themselves in River, but who wants to face tank this? And Baron may even be gone already.
Maps off to the side, looking for the flank onto Nuke. Pressuring him, stopping until he from able to do anything. The Unraveled Earth goes down, but Broken Blade just in the midst of the back line. And Hans Sama, the knockup's there, but there's absolutely no fault. The Smolder just gets to keep doing whatever the hell he pleases. Ice doing some good damage here, but Yike fishing for the backside of the fight. He just gets taken down. It's Ice and Caps, though. 1v1, but now Hans Sama's coming in as well. There's just nowhere for Ice to go. Randuin's is not enough to quadra. Give it to him! Flap, 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 baby! That's a baby dragon! And that's a pentakill!
Mom, are you watching? It's Hans Sama popping off with the Smolder pentakill for the G2 bot lane. What a way for Smolder to enter into the LEC.
Yeah, you heard of Mom's spaghetti, but that's Mom is too damn Betty. Smolder doing Smolder things. Just spitting on him, sneezing on him. G2 reminding us why the pick is so incredibly powerful. A well-played game. G2 finding their first win of the spring split.
G2 finding success on the Smolder. I mean, look, let's be real. yes, the Pentakill came in at the end of the day from Hansama, but it was the mid jungle that actually took over in the early stages, made it very, very difficult for BDS to operate. And it was a fumble from G2, but either way, able to bring it back and close this one out.
Yike and Caps together, some clean performances for sure. Even though like some of the early plays maybe didn't feel quite as good as they could have. Broken Blade independently generating this pressure point. Of course, you can Broke for your Kia player of the game at LEC X, Yike and Caps, or Hansama. All good options. And now, I think we have to really think more about the true Immortal Esports question, which is who wins in a fight, Smolder's mom or Caps' dad? And while you ponder that, we're going to go to a quick break. When we return, more League of Legends. Don't go anywhere.
The first pentakill of Smolder in the LEC, but really not the first pentakill of Smolder internationally, as it was the 21st, I believe, worldwide. But Caps, we're not here to talk about Smolder too much. Thank you so much for joining me after this game. You were telling me that you didn't have too long of a break. How did you utilize your time?
So I was, of course, staying in Berlin with Mickey. So we were just like, playing a lot of League, playing some other games, trying to calm down a bit. But of course, also we want to take away some lessons from the last split. I think our final was still a bit shaky, so we definitely want to show better at the split.
What would be these lessons then? Because when I watched the video introducing the splits, the spring split, you guys were saying that it's hard to stay ahead of the curve because teams are going to want to catch up on you. It's going to be difficult staying on top of your game, innovate and everything. What is going to be this new version of G2? Because you've been smashing it for a long time now. What is going to be new?
Thank you. I mean, I think definitely the first step is to figuring out like the new meta, the new champs, champs like Smolder coming in, of course. But a lot of things changed on these few weeks. We're definitely playing a lot of different champs. I think we didn't really play that much Ahri, Lee Sin, Smolder last, actually Volibear as well. So it's like full new draft, except for maybe the Brom.
Romain was telling me that scrims have been fun, especially since Smolder arrived on the Rift. Can you talk me through your scrims in the sense of what have been fun for you guys playing this champion or in general?
I mean, definitely a lot of pentakills for Smolder, right? I think the last few days were like the first few days were like a bit tough for us to just get back into it and figuring out the champions. I think the last, like now we've kind of figured out what we want to do on this patch. And I'm feeling pretty confident for the whole weekend.
So you got Kia player of the game here,
oh, really?
surprisingly, as also got a pentakill. But yeah, what do you think you made a difference here and that your AD carry did not yoink this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely surprised. I think the pentakill, but also I think Yike had a really insane Lee Sin game.
He did.
I think he was smurfing another one, so definitely surprised about that. I was happy with the Ahri game, right? I think I had some good picks, but I think we all just played very well this game. We had a very big throw at the Baron, like the Talia WE kind of destroyed us, but aside from that, it was a pretty solid game.
And the good news for Dylan, of course, who gets to keep his sanity for once. Caps, thank you so much for this interview, and congrats on winning this one. And Sharks, back to you for the next game, GX versus Casey.